Hi and welcome to episode 25 of Tales of Yarnia. My name is Hannah. I'm coming to you from Cheltenham in the UK, which is where I live with my other half Jimmy and our yellow Labrador Jonah, who is just here. Got a bit of a different setup today. I thought I'd try sitting up here in our spare room / craft room so that Jonah could also be in the shot because he likes to lie on this spare bed here. Yeah, and I just thought it looked a little bit more cosy and crafty. Sorry, I struggle to sit like a normal person. So. And I might get a bit distracting with the spinny chair, so apologies if that gets a bit annoying. Jonah's now decided to lie under the desk after we've got all through all of this setting up so that he can be on the screen. I'll see if I can get him to go back up there in a little bit. Are you camera shy, Jonah? Anyway, sorry, off on a bit of a tangent already. So yeah, to any new viewers, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. I think we have got a couple of new subscribers over the last couple of weeks, so that's really, really exciting. Yeah, we're sort of getting a little bit closer to 1,000. It's jumped up a couple of hundred in the last couple of weeks, so that's really, really exciting. And obviously once we do get to 1,000, I will do a little bit of a giveaway, which should be exciting. Oh, sorry, he just decided to lie on my feet. So yeah, it's going well. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, thank you so much to any returning viewers as well. It's just so lovely that people want to come back and watch more and more of mine and Jonah's shenanigans and completely unprofessional recording. So yeah, social media wise, you can find me as Yarnia Designs on Instagram and Ravelry. You can also find my knitting patterns on Ravelry under Yarnia Designs. And we've also got a podcast group on Ravelry, which is called Tales of Yarnia. But I'll include links to all of that and everything else I talk about just in the down bar. That's where I have show notes. Links to everything can be found down there. Cool. Right, so I don't think we've really got any admin to talk about. And I've waffled on a little bit at the start, so we might want to get on to FOs. I've got one FO to show you this week, and it's really exciting because it's a new design, and they are here. It's the Jonah mittens! Oh, I'm struggling a little bit with the lighting today with the sun, so I'm going to hope these don't get blown out too much. Are they getting blown out? It's really hard to tell. I think because it's such a light colour as well. Hang on, I'm going to put them on as well so that you can see. So these are fingerless mittens knit out of DK yarn. The yarn I've used is the Yarn Lab, and that's on the DK base in the Butterbeer colourway. This is this one. That's a bit better. So yeah. And yeah, it matches in pattern wise my Jonah hat, which I'm currently wearing today. So it's got the same cable pattern that goes down here, just condensed into a mitten. So this was also knit out of the Yarn Lab. So I've got a sort of matching set, but just in different colourways. So, oh yeah, this colourway was Guardian. And then, obviously, I think it was Butterbeer Moustache, this one. Can't remember if I already said that or not. But I absolutely loved working with this yarn. I've really enjoyed using DK yarn for a while, because most of the time I use sort of fingering weight yarn for most of my projects, so it was really nice to have something that works up pretty quick and get off the needles faster than usual. And it's quite nice to not have something quite so fiddly as well, and use bigger needles for a couple of projects. So yeah, this is my first mitten pattern, and I decided to go fingerless because that's just what I prefer and what I find easier. Just so that I can wear them whilst I'm driving and walking the dog. It's just easier to have my fingers free. Just use my phone and all that sort of thing as well. So yeah, these are now in testing. So I'm hoping the pattern should be ready to be released around sort of beginning to middle of December, sort of within the first week or so of December. But I'll announce the release date nearer the time. So yeah, I might keep these on for a little while, just because it's gone really cold over here in the UK over this last week. We've now got frosts in the morning, and you definitely need hat and mittens and scarves when you go outside. So yeah, I might keep these on for a little bit. So yeah, that's my only FO for this episode. And see if Jonah will come back on the bed in a minute. Jonah, do you want to come up here? Come up here. Up. Lie down. Lie down. Good boy. Well done. Good boy. Yeah. You can see everyone. Say hello. There we go. So, Jonah's back. Got my co-host. Yeah, good boy. So, I have got quite a few whips to show you and quite a few acquisitions as well, which I wasn't expecting. I just sort of gradually accumulated a couple of things over the last 2 weeks, and then sort of was writing my show notes this morning and realised just how much there was that I bought. So it's kind of a bit of a surprise to me. So I'm going to go through the whips. I've got, first off, my Woodland Wanderer socks, which is living in this lovely bag from Eldon Woodcraft. And there is a definite theme with this project. It's woodland themed everything. Woodland everything themed. Whichever way around is grammatically correct. So, so I have sort of got a half finished object actually. So I have finished one sock, which is, oh god, that's getting so blown out. That bit better. I'm gonna put it on sock blocker. So that you can see the pattern. I've done these as slightly shorter socks than I would usually do. I just fancied doing it a little bit shorter this time. So yeah, you can sort of see, it's kind of difficult to see the tree pattern. So, but this is what the whole sock looks like. It's so blown out. There, that's better. That's what the whole sock looks like. If I just turn this around. There you go. So that's what it actually looks like up the front of the sock. with this little tree lace motif that runs up the middle, and then you've got two mini cables which run along either side, and then on the back of the leg, ooh, you've got another two little cables that just run up the centre. So yeah, the yarn I've used for this is Eden Cottage yarns in the, what was the colourway name? I always forget this, don't want to get it wrong. Dappled Woodland colourway. So this is the label. And then, I don't know if you can be able to see. And I have actually started the second sock, so we have not got second sock syndrome. I don't like to leave it too long, just because otherwise I lose momentum and then that's not very fun for anyone. So here we go. I've started the first tree on the second sock. So yeah, it's going pretty well with these, and I'm really enjoying it. And this is the yarn here, which I'm really enjoying working with. It's so soft and squishy. I think, is it an 80% merino? Let me just double check. Ah, 85% merino, 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon, so that might be why it's got a bit more of a squish factor than the sock yarns that I usually use. There you go. You can sort of see the little green speckles. It's just so pretty. And it was just really lovely to work up. Especially because it's got like a little bit of interest with the colour of the yarn and the speckles, but it doesn't overpower like a lace design if you want to do something a little bit more involved than a basic pattern. So yeah, really enjoying those. I'm loving how they've turned out so far. So I'll just pop that away. Johnny, you've gone out of shot again. You're so funny. Right, we'll just shove that down there. Actually, put it on there. There we go. Okay, so got a sock blocker in the way. Right, the next whip I was going to show you is a new whip, and this is a new shawl design that I've been working on, and it wasn't one that I'd planned out or really thought too much about. It was just sort of a bit of a impromptu cast on. I can be quite impulsive sometimes with my knitting. Sometimes I can sort of think, I get an idea in my head and I sort of play around with yarn and think, oh my gosh, these would look amazing together, and then I just have to cast it on, because what's the point in waiting? When it's something you enjoy and you love doing, I just sometimes think, what's the point in waiting around to cast it on? Within reason, sort of. Anyway, this one is actually living in 2 project bags. So all of the yarn that I've got stored up for this project is living in my Hikari handmade bag, which is like a sweater sized bag. It's huge and it's amazing. It's so well made, and I love the big drawstring. You can fit so much in this. Like at the moment I've got 200-gram skeins of fingering yarn and 4 50-gram skeins of mohair in here, and it's not even half full. So that's what I'm sort of storing all of the yarn that I'm not currently using for the project. And I'm using this new little project bag, which is all Christmas themed with llamas wearing scarves and sweaters, which is super cute. This was a little gift in a swap that I did with my friend Lydia, who is Purple Moose on Instagram. And she just sort of messaged me and asked if I was doing participating in the, I think it was the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, and said she wanted to send me a couple of things. So I said it'd be really, really lovely to just do a swap. So she sent me this gorgeous project bag, which was filled with minis and little sweets and all sorts of little treats. And it was just so, so lovely. I won't show you everything that was in there, partly because some of it is gone now because I've eaten them. And but yeah, there was so much she sent me. It was so lovely. But yeah, I just had to start using this straight away because it's getting round to that time of year. And I love that it has this little, oh gosh, this little Christmas tree progress keeper on it, which I've just kept on the zipper at the moment. The project bag is by, I think it's by Buttoned Up and Pinned Down, who is a new maker to me, but I've now found them on Instagram. I think they are just called Buttoned Up and Pinned Down. And it's just really, really fun, lovely project bag. So I'm now following them and I'll be on the lookout for other ones in the future. So I'm going to get this project out of here. This bag is what I'm holding the actual shawl in and the current yarns that I'm using for it. Because I'm only using sort of 2 at a time, 3 maximum at a time. Which sounds confusing, but it will make sense. So I'll show you, I think it's easier if I show you what I'm doing first. Just untangle myself. So this is the shawl so far. It's got a little bit too long for the needles now. I'm just going to try and push it to the ends of the needles without all the stitches falling off. There we go. So this is it so far. I'm really, really enjoying working on this. So it's a fingering weight shawl, but throughout the whole shawl you're holding together a strand of fingering weight yarn with a strand of lace weight mohair. So can you see how fluffy that is? I'm really, really enjoying it. So I just wanted something that was going to be a really fairly relaxed knit, quite mindless, but with a couple of sort of detailed sections with some simple lace. It was just what I was really, really craving at the time. So I decided, well, why don't I just make one up? Because there wasn't a shawl pattern out there that I could see that sort of fitted my criteria. So I decided to just make one up. So it's mostly going to be garter stitch. It's going to involve 3 different colours which will fade into one another, and each colour will feature this little lace motif section and some eyelets. So I just thought fairly simple, but simple can sometimes be effective. And really fun and mindless to knit. So at the moment I've just faded in the second colour. I think I've done maybe 2 or 3 rows. No, I've done about 6 rows with the second colour. Ooh. Which is a sort of darker speckled blue than the initial one I've used. So I'll just talk you through the yarns. Well, actually, I'll just show you the progress keeper I've got on here. I've got my little unicorn from Hannah off the Corner of Craft, which I just thought goes perfectly with the colours in this shawl. So how could I not put him on there? And then I've also got my little mermaid stitch markers from Yarnia, which I think I have shown on the podcast before. They are kind of iridescent and shiny, so quite difficult to show, especially when the light is being difficult like this. There you go, you can sort of see little mermaids. So I've got 4 of those on there. Right, I'm going to show you the yarn now. So yeah, the mohair I'm using this is my first time using mohair, and I ordered a bit of a quantity of drops kid silk, which is, what are you? It's 75% mohair and 25% silk, and each ball is 25 grams, and you get 230 yards or 210 meters. So here's the label, and I opted for this it's sort of a more greeny blue than is showing up on the camera at the moment. It's sort of a, yes, it's a bit of a mix. It's a very greeny blue. It's like a very, very light turquoise, grey turquoise. Kind of difficult to describe, but yeah, that's what I'm holding throughout the shawl, together with the fingering weight yarns. And there are 3 different fingering weight yarns I'm using. So the first one that I've used is the Wool Barn. Oh, I wonder if you'll be able to see these speckles. Yeah, there you go. So this is the Beachcomber colourway, I believe. And it is gorgeously soft and squishy. So that held together with this ends up looking like this. And you can sort of see, you can see the little speckles through the mohair. It's just, I'm not sure if it's going to show up completely in this light. You can see them. It's always difficult to see because the image that I get back whilst I'm filming is on a very small screen. I think when you watch this on a bigger screen, I think you can see a bit more detail. So I'm really pleased with how that's worked up, held together. And then that fades into this sock blank, which I know is normally a very unusual choice for a shawl, but I really wanted to make this out of what I have in my stash. And I know from when I've knit with the sock blank before, making socks, it looks really weird and janky and uneven when you're knitting with it, but then when you soak whatever you've knitted, it completely relaxes the kinks out of the yarn, and it, as far as I'm concerned, it just looks normal, and it blooms quite well. So obviously whilst I'm knitting with it, it's all kinky like this, but that does completely relax once you've soaked it. I know some people, when they knit with a sock blank, sort of wind up the yarn into a skein and then soak it to relax it all, and then wait for it to dry and wind it up into a cake. But I am A, lazy and can't be bothered to do that, and B, didn't want to wait that long to start using the colour, so I'm just knitting with it as it is, and it will look a little bit uneven to start with, like whilst I'm knitting with it. But then once I finish the shawl and I soak it, it should relax and just look normal. So this sock blank is from Stranded dye works. I don't think she sells or dyes on sock blanks anymore. I think she discontinued that base. But isn't it just stunning? I did cheat a bit with knitting from this, and I skipped the more neutral section and went straight to one of the big speckly bits. So I'll probably do that again and skip some of this more neutral section and skip to that, because it works with what I'm doing as a faded shawl. So to have it going darker and more vibrant, because I've started off with a very light colour. I'm just going to roll this back up. Could do with some elevator music thing here while I do this. Or I could just edit it out, but we'll see. Right, so it's these two colours. We've got Beachcomber, and then, oh, I think the name of this colourway, what's it called? Frostbite. Frostbite. I think she does still dye this colourway around this time of year, just not on a sock blank. And then the last colourway, which I'm thinking of using, is this skein, which is Fine Fish Yarns, and it's on the Stellina base, I think. I don't know if that's going to show up. Is it Stellina? Yes. Yes, it is. And I think the colourway is Grimoire. I'm not sure if I've popped that up here. Yes, here it is. This is the label. So, Fine Fish Yarns. And this has been in my stash for, must be around 2 years, so it's really nice to find a project to use it in. Yes, it's on the shimmer sock base in the Grimoire colourway. So yeah, that's going to be next, hopefully. I've got a couple of options. It depends how it knits up. So yeah, I might change my mind on the last colour. Excuse me. Need some coffee. Haven't even started this cup of coffee. Okay, so that's my current shawl design. That's currently the only design I've got on the needles. I've got a couple of designs in my head, but I only really like to work on one at a time, just because I do have like a full-time day job, and otherwise I think it can get a bit overwhelming. And yeah, otherwise it's a bit too much going on in my head at once. So I can have one in testing. I'll be knitting on and designing another one, because that's two separate. That's like two completely different areas of the design process, I feel. So I think that's okay. But actually knitting on a design, I think only one at once works best for me. Oh, I did also want to say, I think I've still got 75 grams left of this first colour, so I think I've got enough to make a pair of socks with this, which I was really excited about. So, but it's going to keep living in the bag with all the yarn at the moment, just in case I decide to add in another section of that colour at some point. So that was that one. And just shove this back in here. Now, what have we got to talk about next? I've got two more whips. First one, or the next one, is the pair of socks I'm working on for Jimmy, and I can't remember where I was up to the last time I showed this, and if I did show it the last time I podcast. So I'll just quickly show progress on it. Because I can't remember if I showed it to you. I don't think I showed you it being a half finished object, because I've now finished one of the sock tubes. So this is going to be a pair of socks for Jimmy, either for Christmas or his birthday, depending on when I get around to actually finishing them. But I'm still making progress, so they're still happening, which is good. And the yarn I've used is West Yorkshire Spinners in the Bullfinch colourway. Yeah, so here's the ball of yarn. And I've used a contrast colour, which is just West Yorkshire Spinners. I think it's West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply, which is just the black. I don't think it really has a fancy name. It's just the black colourway. And I'm using that for the cuffs, and then I'm going to use that for the afterthought heels as well. So this little marker is just showing me where I'm going to be putting the heel in. So I finished one, and I am now, oops, getting tangled. I've now started the second one, which is exciting. So got a long way to go. A really long way to go. But it's a nice project just to take out for any knitting on the go, and to appointments and things like that. So it does get done sort of in a bit of a ad hoc way. So yeah, those are still going along. There's not really much more to say about that. Oh, I forgot to show you which project bag they're living in. They are living in my butternut handmade sock sack, which is super pretty. I just love these colours. Really autumnal. Ooh, sorry. Absolutely love it. The little birds, flowers, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, that's by Butternut Handmade. Okay. Right. I've got one more whip to show you, which is kind of a funny one because it looks exactly the same as it did the last time I showed it to you. However, I've spent many hours working on it. So I think you can probably guess what this is. Living in my homespun house llamas bag. Now getting a bit of a collection of llamas bags, which is amazing. And living in here is my soiree sweater. So if you watched my last episode, I think I talked about how I'd started the smallest size because I didn't want too much ease. Because this pattern, I'm not sure if I've not got it up here. I've left it downstairs. The soiree sweater pattern, I think it calls for about 16 inches of ease, of positive ease, which makes it a very large sweater, sort of boxy style sweater. It is cropped, so yeah, I'd started the smallest size because I decided I didn't want that much ease. And then I got this far on it. I got exactly to the same point I am now, and decided that I wanted more ease than I was getting because I did sort of want it to be relaxed. And because it's a cropped sweater, I didn't want it to be that fitted. So I ripped it all out and started again, and I'm now knitting the second size up, and I think I'm going to be a lot happier with the ease on this one, hopefully. So It's difficult to see because it's not that long yet, but it is a lot, like quite a bit wider than the previous one was. So yeah. So I'm actually, yeah, I'm exactly the same point that I was. So I have done quite a few hours work on this to get back to the same point. And I really enjoyed it. But now I've been distracted by that shawl because of the mohair and how fluffy it is and how wintry it looks with the colours. So this has taken a little bit of a backseat, but I will be coming back to it. And I got back up to the same place I was, so. But now, getting the project out and feeling the yarn, I just really, really want to work on it. I just wish I had more hands so I could knit more than one project at once. That would be the dream. I would look pretty strange having 4 hands, but I would get so much more knitting done. So. Priorities. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly show you that I had, just quickly update you, I had changed to the slightly larger size. And there's really not much to show because it looks exactly the same, but I have put in quite a few hours work on it. So there we go. I can join the pile of whips. Yeah. So that's all of the whips, all of the things I've been working on, but I have got a couple of acquisitions to show you. So the first acquisition I've got to show you is really, really exciting because I've recently been chatting with Tony from Kinsman Yarn Co. Over in Australia, and we've been chatting about doing a collaboration with her yarn and me coming up with a design. So we sort of had a bit of a chat about what sort of design I was going to do and which of her yarn bases and colourways we were going to go with for the design. And we settled on a shawl design. And let me just show you. I've kept the yarn in this gorgeous bag that she sent it in because it's absolutely adorable. I just love this print. And it's just so lovely to... I've never had yarn which I've received in a bag like this. So I was really, really excited, and I've kept it in there just to keep it nice, and because I love the bag. It's just perfect for fitting 2 skeins in. So yes, this is going to be a shawl design, and the yarn that we settled on it's the Kinsman Merino fingering base, which is 100% superwash merino, and it is 100 grams, where you get 400 meters or 437 yards. I'll just quickly show you her card. Oh, it's getting blown out here. There you go. Kinsman Yarn Co. And the colourway we've gone with, I've gone for 2 skeins of the same colourway to do just 1 colour shawl, and it's the Hepburn colourway. Oh, I really hope this doesn't get blown out. It is absolutely stunning. It is this gorgeous sort of blush pink with speckles of sort of yellows and brighter pinks and browns. Hopefully that's all showing up okay. It's just absolutely stunning, and it's so soft and squishy as well. I can't wait to work with it. So yeah, here's the other skein. They are just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I think this is going to make a really, really gorgeous shawl. I think it's going to be hopefully some lace and texture in there, because the speckles are so subtle that it will show off a really lovely design, I think. so I'm hoping to do that in the new year, so after Christmas. They're just gorgeous. They smell amazing. So yeah, thank you so much, Tony. I can't wait to work with this yarn. It is absolutely stunning, and it's so soft and delicate. Like, the colour is just... love it. It is slightly more pinky than is showing up on the camera, I think. I'll have to post some pictures at some point, because this light is not being my friend today. Yeah. I love it. Right, I'm going to keep them in that gorgeous bag. I want to keep them nice and away from Jonah's hair. So that was the first acquisition that I've got. I'm not going to throw that, don't worry. So the next thing that I've got to show you is a little order that I made from a knit away, and the lovely Emily of a knit away, who's based in the UK. She's got an Etsy shop called a knit away. The lovely Emily, she put a post out on Instagram, I think it was a couple of days ago. Yeah, it was earlier this week, saying they're having some health problems, which are quite serious, with their 7-month-old puppy called Rusty, who's an adorable little labradoodle, and the vet's bills were going to be a lot more than their insurance covers. And so she's having a little sale on her Etsy shop with 15% off at the moment. And I think the code, there's a code you have to use. I think it might be VetSpills, but I'd advise you go over and check out her Instagram and the post to find out more about what it is that they're doing, and any updates on Rusty. So I really wanted to show my support. So I've ordered a couple of skeins of yarn, and they are absolutely beautiful. I really love them. The first one that grabbed me was this skein. Oh, that's showing up really well on camera. And it's called Mauvelous because it's mauve and it's marvellous. So yeah, this one's called Mauvelous, and it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. You get 425 metres per 100 grams. There's her lovely label as well. And I really love this purple with these speckles. I was thinking this could be a contender to go at the end of my fading shawl. I'm not too sure, but this could definitely be a good one, I think, because it's a sort of like fairly one colour but with speckles. I think that might go really nicely, but we'll have to see. Have to see how the other one works up and all of that. So yeah, I love purple. So yeah, that was the first skein that I got. So squishy. The other one, sorry, that's just Jola snoring in the background. The other one is actually a sock blank that I picked up. And this one, the colourway is Chasing Pavements. And I loved the sort of like neutral sort of taupey brown areas with these brighter, darker speckles. That's a new thing. Speckles of dark green and blue and yellow. And I thought this would make a really lovely pair of socks, possibly for Jimmy. or me. Depends whether I want to steal one. So yeah, I really, really love this. I'm not going to completely undo it because it's been rolled up really nicely. But you can just sort of see. So yeah, I think this is also, also 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So yeah, I really love how she's wrapped this up and tied a little bow. So thank you so much, Emily. I really hope you get some answers with Rusty soon, and yeah, we're sending him loads of cuddles and lots of love. So yeah, thank you so much. Right, so I think I still got a couple of acquisitions to show you because I've been terrible this last couple of weeks. Yeah, the next one I'll show you is this lovely bag of mohair. So as well as that other mohair that I bought for that shawl design, I also bought the same quantity in the off-white colour. I mean, it doesn't really matter if that blows out because it's just going to still look white, isn't it? But yeah, this was bought because I am dying to cast on the Dust of Snow shawl, or wrap, Dust of Snow wrap by Helen Stewart, which is part of her knit vent for this year. So I bought 5 balls of this because I think that should be enough. I'm gonna have a tower of mohair. It's getting more and more unstable. I don't know why I do these things. But yeah, we've got all this mohair. And I just wanted a really neutral colour because I'm planning on using my advent calendar, which is from the Little Tailoress, and it's just living over here in my shelves at the moment. And I think this is going to be for the knit along as well, which is being hosted by Caroline of the Knitting Vicariously podcast, and she is currently hosting I think it's called the Blame Dunderknit knit along. I think she's hosting it on Instagram and also over on Ravelry, and it's basically the idea is that you just cast on with wild abandon a project that you've been really, really wanting to cast on for a long time. And ever since my mum pointed out this pattern to me, I think I'd seen it on Instagram as well, and I thought, that looks amazing. But at the time I didn't realise it was designed as a pattern to use all of your advent minis that you get in an advent calendar. So when I realised it was for that, and that I have an advent calendar, and I was wondering what to make with it, I thought it would be a really, really lovely project to just have on the needles as a mindless knit, to just pick up whenever, possibly throughout next year. So it's not going to be something that I'm rushing to finish, and I was going to wait until January, and I've opened all of my advent minis to start it, but in the spirit of the Blame Dunderknit, Cal, I think I'm just going to cast it on, hopefully on the 1st of December, because I don't think, no, I can't open the advent calendar before the 1st of December. So unfortunately I haven't been able to cast on for the knit along yet because I don't want to ruin my advent calendar. But as soon as it's the 1st of December, I'm going to be casting this bad boy on, and it is going to be amazing with all of this mohair and just all of the advent calendar minis. And I was thinking it might be really nice to just cast them on, knit them all up in the order that I open them, which I know makes sense, but I don't want to rejig around the order and change the colours around, even if I think, oh, that would look nice there. I think it would be really nice to knit them all up in the exact order of the days. Sounds really weird. Don't know if that makes sense or not, but hopefully it makes sense to someone. So yeah, that's all the mohair. So considering before this shawl project I'd never knit with mohair before, and now I'm planning on casting on 2 mohair projects, it's quite exciting. And I think it's going to be quite addictive. So that was the last, no, I've got one more acquisition. Sorry. So, just going to have some coffee first. Whew. I feel like I'm talking at you a lot today. Or I'm going fast, I don't know. But yeah, got one more acquisition, which was a lovely packet. Sorry, I'm just going to get this out of the package first, and then I'll talk. Okay, that's the crinkling done. So now I can talk and you'll hear me. So I was just about to say, I've received this lovely package from Devon Sun Yarns, which consists of this gorgeous this gorgeous calendar, which is for 2019. This is the front of the calendar, and this is the back. I just love how bright and colourful it is. I'll just show you. I did go through all of this on my Instagram stories, but if you didn't see it there, it's this lovely calendar that's got a different picture of their yarns on each page, and space to write in all of your plans for next year. So I was thinking of having this up on the wall, possibly over here somewhere in my craft room, just to note on all the yarn festivals I plan on going to, and meetups, and just all of the sort of deadlines and to do with my test knitting and designing work. I just thought that would be really cool. So it's beautiful. Some of them are projects that are knit up, so I think that's a beautiful crocheted shawl, which is absolutely gorgeous. I really love the tweed. Love the tweed. I think September and October might have been my favourite ones. I really love the speckles on all of that yarn. And then October, I really, really love that. Just those beautiful autumnal colours. That's pretty as well. So yeah, so just a really, really useful calendar. I believe they have got these on pre-order on their website, which I will link to down below in the notes. They've got them on pre-order at the moment until the 1st of December. And actually, looking at their Instagram earlier today, I believe you can get 25% off if you sign up to their newsletter. So it's an easy way to get a discount. The other things she sent were this gorgeous little project notes booklet, which, yeah, I don't think that's blowing out. I think you can see all the details there. But it's just so useful. I haven't started writing on it yet because I just wanted to show it all nice and new on the podcast. But yeah, it's gorgeous. So you can put all of the details of the pattern and your needles and the gauge that you're using, and then all the details of the yarn that you're using as well. And then you can sort of track I guess milestones in the pattern, sort of like where you're up to on different sections and all that sort of thing. And I did think it might be nice to just sort of keep a little sample of the yarn that you used. I could like just tape it on in this little box here as just like a little reminder when I'm looking back through my notes, just like a tiny little sample of the yarn. I could just sort of tape it on there. Sort of like a little bit of a way of journaling the projects. So yeah, you get loads of these. It's a big booklet of them. So yeah, super useful, and really cute as well. So I'm really looking forward to using that. And now I can, now that I've shown it on here. And then also included was this really cute pencil. Hopefully you can see that. It says yarn makes me happy. So perfect for filling in all these things. So thank you so much for these. They're absolutely gorgeous and I'm definitely going to get a lot of use out of them. So yeah, definitely go check out their website, Devon Sun Yarns. I'll put a link, as I said, in the down bar below. And you can go have a look and get organised like me. So I think that's almost the last thing. I did just want to show a little thing from my package that I received from Lydia, who is Purple Moose on Instagram. Where's Jonah gone? Oh, he's under the desk. In the package, she sent me a little mini skein of her own hand-dyed yarn, which she's not currently selling, but I think she said she was planning on starting up a shop start of next year. So I just wanted to show off this little mini skein that she's created. It's absolutely stunning. Beautiful. I just love, she's mastered speckles already. I just find my favourite bit. I really love. Don't focus on me, focus on the yarn. I really love this bit here. Isn't it just gorgeous? I love it. So, thank you so much again, Lydia. Oh, right, that everything went a really funny colour then. I think it's back to normal. But yeah, this is just so beautiful. But yeah, I think we've reached the end of my acquisitions now. Hello, Jonah. Why didn't you come up here? Oh, I've got all the project bags there now, haven't I? What are you doing? Do you want to come say hello? Hello! Hello, everybody! Oh, he's trying to get to the mohair. We've discovered recently that Jonah loves mohair. Look. No! He loves to smoosh his nose right into it for some reason. I know. It's kind of like when, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this with their dogs, but whenever I wash all of my hand knit socks and I sort of lay them on the radiator, sort of like hang them over the radiator, some of them to dry, and Jonah always goes up to them and tries to wipe himself on the wet yarn. It's like he goes into this weird primal mode. of like just trying to get the sheepy smell on him, which is just so weird. He ends up like rubbing his body on the radiator and then falling onto the floor and rolling around. And similar things have happened when I've tried to block shawls and things as well on the floor. He will try and edge his way onto them, and I'll tell him to not go anywhere near it, and then when he thinks I'm not looking, he'll try and edge closer to it. I don't know what's wrong with him. Does anyone else have that happen with their dogs? You're weird, aren't you? You're a little weirdo. But we love you. Yeah, it's like certain yarns, like the really sheepy smelling ones, he has a real thing for them, and he'll try and like just smoosh them into his face. Yeah. Oh, there was a little funny story that happened the other day. Normally, left unattended, he won't go near any of the stash or anything. He could reach any of this and take it off wherever he wanted and destroy it. But he hasn't ever done anything or touched it. And my crochet blanket and all my mini skeins, I keep them all in this big tote bag, and I just sort of like leave it on the floor in here when I'm not working on it. And I think one night I was on a night shift out at work, and I came back home and I found just a mini skein. It was one of the ones that Lydia had sent me. I found a mini skein just in the middle of the floor. Leave that alone, please. I found a mini skein just in the middle of the floor in this room. And I said to Jimmy, why is this in the middle of the floor? And, oh no, I found it on the desk. I found it on the desk. And it was out of the bag, and I know I'd put it in with all my other mini skeins. And yeah, I said to Jimmy, oh, why is this on the desk? That's a bit strange. And he said he found it in the middle of the floor that morning. And so I went over to the bag, and I noticed it was like opened, and like someone had obviously been rummaging around in there. And we've deduced that Jonah went over to the bag full of my blanket and mini skeins and picked out this one that Lydia had sent me and left it in the middle of the floor. So we've decided that's Jonah's favourite yarn now. And it was the green one. I think it was green and yellow. And I'm not sure if he might have been able to smell her dog on that yarn, and that's why he'd maybe taken a liking to it and pulled it out. But yeah, we just found that so funny. He'd never done that before. So that's the only thing we can think of that might have attracted him to it. So yeah, little fun anecdote there. Yeah. So I think that's all we've really got to tell you about today. I've not really got much in the way of life news. I'm still debating whether to do Vlogmas or not, just because I'm not sure. I would really love to have a go and maybe just do a couple of sort of Christmassy vlog style videos, but I definitely wouldn't be able to do one every day. Because when I'm on, if it's a day when I'm working, I'm out of the house for about 14 hours that day, because my shifts are 12 hours long. So by the time I get home, I'm literally dead. Well, not literally, but I'm dead to the world. So that's sort of like 4 days in a row where I can't really fit in any filming. So I'm thinking maybe on my days off I might be able to do like a little vlog each time. But I'll just have to see how it goes, I think. I might end up just doing 1 or 2 little Christmassy vlogs. Because unfortunately my work schedule doesn't really fit in with that sort of daily commitment. So yeah, let me know if that would be something you'd be interested in, just having a couple of vloggy, Christmassy videos, and I might try and do that, because it's nearly December now. What's the date today? Is it? Jonah, what's the date? What's the date? I don't know. Yes, the 22nd today. So it's really not that long till December. So I'm hoping maybe I'll at least try and do one and see how it goes. I've never really done a vlog before, apart from the podcast, but that's a bit more of like a formal sit down with some structure. So maybe I'll just try and do some fun little Christmassy videos and add them onto YouTube and see. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me to the end if you got this far. Me and Jonah really appreciate it. And I really enjoyed talking to you and chatting all about the things I've been working on, the things I've been planning to work on, and just all of that stuff. So I hope you all have a lovely couple of crafty weeks till I speak to you again. And yeah, bye! Ooh. Didn't realise the chair went backwards. Come here, Jonah. Up, up, up. Hello, Papa. Hello. This is getting precarious. Hey, Jonah. You good boy. You good boy. You good boy. Jonah, stop that. You're a crazy boy. You crazy boy.